So, good day everyone. So, this is our third chapter of statistical analysis with software applications, which is the data description. So, under this chapter, there are three lessons, which are the measure of central tendency, measure of variation, and then the measure of positions. So, for this video, we're focused about the measure of central tendency. And then for the learning outcomes, so at the end of the lesson, you should be able to summarize data using measure of central tendency, such as the mean, median, mode, and then the mean range. So in chapter 2, we show how to uh, gain useful information from raw data by organizing it. Into a frequency distribution table. And then from the frequency distribution table, we represent it by using the various graphs. So for this chapter, we will show the statistical method that can be used to summarize data. And the most familiar of this method is the finding the average. Okay, so if we're going to recall chapter 1, a statistician use a sample from the population. So, di ba pinag-usapan natin doon kung paano kumuha ng sample from population. However, kapag naman ang population ay maliit lang, so it is not necessary to use the samples since the entire population can be used to gain information. Okay, so for example, if you're about to conduct a survey about um, the internet allowance or weekly internet allowance, and your target respondents is your class. Most likely, it's around uh, 40, 40 student or below 40 student. So with this kind of example, it is not necessary to use a sample because 30 or 40 student is very small, for us to get a sample. So therefore, we will going to use the population or the entire population of the class, to conduct the studies. So in this part, uh, in relation to samples and then population, diyan na natin maintindihan or pag-aaralan si what we call the statistics and then the parameter. Okay, so statistics is a characteristic that or measure obtained by using the data from the sample. Again, if we're about to use the sample, ang tawag sa measurement na yon is statistics. So, parameter naman ang tawag kapag yung measurement ay obtained from all or from using all the data values from the specific population. Okay, so like what I have example given a while ago, yung entire class. So, hindi siya parameter. Hindi siya statistics, hindi parameter yung ano natin, yung gagamitin natin. Pero if we're going to get only 20 student from your class, so statistics yung tawag doon. Okay, so general rounding rule. So before we proceed to the deep computation, let me discuss to you about the general rounding rule. So in statistics, the basic rounding rule, is that when computation are done in the calculations, so rounding should not be done until the final answer is calculated. Okay, so when rounding is done, the intermediate step, it tends to increase the difference between the answer and then the exact ones. Okay, better places is 4 or 3 or 4 decimal places. Okay, so pag nag-round off tayo sa statistics, lagi niyong tatandaan, mag-round off tayo sa final answer. Okay, hanggat hindi siya final answer, hindi tayo magra-round off. Okay, so sabi nga rito, better places is 3 or 4. Okay, so there are tendency na gagamit tayo ng 3 or 4. Yan na yung pinaka most common na ginagamit natin. But sometimes, okay, so there are topics here na gagamit lamang tayo ng 1 decimal places. 1 decimal place rather. Okay. So now let's start with the mean. So again, so central measure of central tendency. So there are three major topics: the mean, the median, and then the most. So let's start the discussion by the mean. Okay, so define muna natin mean. The mean is also known as the arithmetic average. It is found by adding the values of the data and dividing by the total numbers of values. Okay, so for example, we have 1, 2, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7. So that is equal to 28. Okay, so to get its mean, so we're going to divide 28 by the total number of values. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have to get the mean, so that is 28 divided by 7 is equals to 4. So the mean is equals to 4. Okay, so uh, the other definition of the mean is the sum of the values divided by the total number of values. Okay, the symbol x bar represents the sample mean. Okay, so its formula is equal, so x bar is equal to x sub 1 plus x sub 2 plus x sub 3 plus dot 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 up to plus n x sub n all over n. So it is also equal to the summation of x over n. Okay, where n represents the total number of values in the sample. Okay, and then for the population, the Greek letter mu, okay, is used for the mean. Okay, so this symbol is used for population mean, and that is equal to x sub 1 plus x sub 2 x sub 3 plus up to x sub n all over n is equals to the summation of x over n. Okay, so that where n represent the total number of values in the populations. So take note that in statistics, Greek letters are used to denote parameters and Roman letters are used to denote statistics. Okay, so lagi nyo tatandaan yun. Okay, so example for the mean. Okay, so days of per year. So data represent the number of days and days off per year, for example, of the individuals selected from 9 different countries. So let us find the mean. So what are the number of days off? So we have 20, 26, 40, 36, 23, 42, 35, 24, and then 30. Okay, so let's get the mean. So we have x bar is equals to summation of x all over n. So that is equal to 20 plus 26 plus 40 plus 36 plus 32 plus 42 plus 35 plus 24 plus 30 all over 9. So if we're going to add the numerator, we will have the 276 over 9, and that is equals to 30.7 days. So, iyan yung average. Okay, so yung average days of per year of 9 different countries. Okay, so next. So, record high temperature. Okay, using the frequency distribution, find the mean. So, the data represent the record high temperature in degrees Fahrenheit for each of the 50 states. So, ito yung example of getting mean for a group. for the group data. Okay, so gagamitin natin yung table having the class boundary, the frequency. Dadagdagan natin siya ng midpoint and then itong f multiply by midpoint. Okay, yung f na to, ito yung frequency natin. At yung midtime na to, yun ang kukunin natin. Paano kunin yung midpoint? Ang magiging reference natin dyan, itong mga class boundaries. So that we will going to get the midpoint of the first class, the second class, up to the last class, which is 200.5 up to 304.5. Okay, so let's start getting the midpoint. Okay, or x sub m. So we have x sub m is equals to 99.5 plus 104.5 is equals over 2 is equals to 202. Next, 104.5 plus 109.5 all over 2 is equals to 107. Next, we have 900.5 plus 114.5 all over 2 is equals to 112. 114.5 plus 119.5 all over 2 is equals to 119. Next, 119.5 plus 124.5 all over 2 is equals to 122. 124.5 plus 129.5 all over 2 is equals to 127. Next is, and the last one is 129.5 minus, that is plus, this is plus 134. Okay, this is plus 134.5 all over 2 is 132. Okay, so let's all put those things sa graph natin. So, ito na siya lahat. And then, let's find the f multiplied by midpoint. So, ito lang yan. 2 times 200 to 102. So, that is 204. 8 multiplied by 107. So, that is equals to 856. 18 multiplied by 112. So, that is equals to 2016. 13 multiplied by 117, so that is equals to 1521. 7 multiplied by 122, so that is equals to 854. 1 multiplied by 127, so that is 127. And 1 multiplied by 132 is equals to 132. So after doing that, let's get the summation of x multiplied by midpoint, f multiplied by midpoint. So 204 plus 856 plus 216 plus 1521 plus 854 plus 1027 plus 132. So that is equal to 5,710. Okay, so after that, okay, so let's get the mean. So mu is equals to summation of f multiplied by the midpoint over n. So that is 5,710 over 50, and that is equals to 114.2 degrees Fahrenheit. So the average record high temperatures in 50 states is 114.2 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is how to get the mean for group data. Okay, so let's find, this is the procedure for finding the mean, okay, of group data. So first is to make a table as shown. So there is a class boundary, the frequency or even f, the midpoint, x sub m, and then the product of the frequency and then the midpoint or f multiplied by x sub m. Okay, so second step is find the midpoint of each class. Okay, next is multiply the frequency by the midpoint for each class. Next is find the sum of f multiplied by the midpoint, and then find the sum obtained, divide the sum obtained from the f multiplied by the midpoint by the sum of the frequency, and then the formula we're about to use is x bar is equals to summation of f multiplied by the midpoint over n, or that is for the sample, and then for the population means we have mu is equals to the summation of f multiplied by the midpoint x sub m all over n. Okay, so next is the median. Okay, what is in the median? The median is the halfway point in the data set. Before you can find this, the data must be arranged in order. Okay, when the data set is ordered, it is called the data array. The median either will be a specific value of the data set, or it will fall between the two values. Okay, so median, pwede siyang iisa or pwede siyang mag-fall sa between the two data set or two values. Okay, so the median is the midpoint of the array, and the symbol for the median is MD. Okay, kapag daw ang median ay nasa midpoint ang dalawang array, ito yung formula gagamitin natin. Okay, yung symbol, ang gagamitin natin yung formula is, okay, i-add natin yung dalawang data array na yun and then divide it by 2. Okay, so here's the step in computing the median of the data array. First is arrange the data in order or ascending order or increasing order. Next is select the middle point. Okay, so for example, hotel rooms. So the number of rooms in 7 hotels is down in downtown Pittsburgh is 713, 300, 618, 595, 311, 401, and 292. So let's find the median. Okay, so solution. So first step, arrange in order from lowest to highest. So that we have 292, 300, 311, 401, 595, 618, and then 713. Okay, next step is select the middle value. Kung ito yung data array natin, ang middle value niya ay is 1. So therefore, ito yung median natin. Okay, so hence, the median is 401 rooms. Okay, so next example, tornadoes in United States. So number of tornadoes that have occurred in United States over an 8 period as follows. Okay, so find the median. Okay, so here our data, our data set. So we have 684, 764, okay, 656, 702, 856, 1133, 1132, and 1303. Okay, for the solution, arrange in order. Okay, so that is how we arrange in order. 656, 684, 702, 764, 800, 56, 1132, 1133, and then 1303. Okay, next is identifying the midpoint. Okay, the middle part, so that is in between. Okay, 764 and then 852. So in this case, we're going to get the median or the midpoint of those two data value. Okay, how do we do that? Okay, so to find its median, so we have 764 plus 856 all over 2 is equal to 1620. That is divided by 2, so we have 810. So therefore, the median number of tornado is 810. Okay, so next is the mode. Okay, so the mode is the value that occurs most often in the dataset. Okay, it is sometimes said to be the most typical case. Okay, so kailan ba ginagamit si mode? Okay, pag election. Okay, siba. So, most open dataset occurs kapag sino yung maraming boto, yun ang nananalo. Okay, so mode ang ginagamit dun. Okay, so the value that occurs most often, okay, is the set is in the dataset is what we call the mode. Okay, so there are types of mode. Unimodal, so kapag ang mode ay isa lang. Okay, ibig sabihin na may isang dataset na nag-occur na isang beses. Okay, bimodal, two values in the dataset. So, merong dalawang values na equal ang taas or yung frequency, and then pareha silang pinakamataas na frequency. Okay, o sila yung most occurrence. Multimodal, two or more occurrence. Okay, so merong more than two. Rather, this is more than two. More than two occurrence. And no mode kapag no data values occur than more than one. So, ito sa no mode, hindi equal. Okay, walang equal na mode. Okay, na data set. Ayan yung no mode siya. Okay, so for example, NFL signing bonuses. Okay, so find the mode of signing bonuses of 8 NFL players per specific year. The bonuses in millions of dollars are, so we have 18.0, 14.0, 34.5, 10. Okay, we have 11.3, we have 10, 12, 4 point, point 12.4, and then we have 10. Okay, so solution. So it is helpful to arrange the data in order, although it is not necessary. Kasi pag order siya, makikita natin talaga kung ano-ano pag nagkatabi-tabi at kung ano yung pinakamadami. So like this one, we're going to set this one in order. We have 10, 10, 10, 11.3, 12.4, 14.0, 18.0, we have 34.5. So obviously, okay, so there are only one. Okay. So ang most frequent or most number of occurrences is yung 10. So since 10 million occurs 3 times, okay, so frequency larger any other numbers, and then the mode is 10 million. Okay, so yung frequency na mas mataas kaysa sa iba, okay, ibang number na to, yun ang mode natin. Okay, next. Miles run per week. Find the modal class of the frequency distribution of miles that 20 runners run in a week. So, ito yung class natin, yung class boundaries, and ito yung frequency. Okay, so obviously, ang pinakamadaming frequency ay ito, ang 5. So, ang tawag dyan ay modal class. So, the modal class is 20.5 to 25.5 since it has the largest frequency. Sometimes, The midpoint of the class is used rather than the boundaries. So hence, the mode could also be given as 23 miles per week. Okay, paano nakuha sa 23 miles per week? Paano nakuha yun? We have 20.5 plus 25.5 divided by 2, so that is equal to 23 miles per week. Okay. Mid-range. Okay, sa mid-range naman, okay, so the mid-range is a rough estimate of the middle. It is found by adding the lowest and the highest value in the dataset and dividing it by 2. This very rough estimate of the average and can be affected by extremely high or low values. So sa mid-range, ito yung estimate. Rough estimate kasi hindi ganun ka-smooth magiging result niya. Sabi nga nito, it has a great effect kapag ang isang value are extremely high or extremely low. Kapag sobrang taas ng isang value at sobrang baba, naapektuhan yung mid-range at hindi ganun ka-accurate makukuha natin yung estimation natin for the average. Okay, so the formula for the mid-range. Okay, so it is defined as the sum of the lowest and the highest value in the data set divided by 2. And the symbol is MR is used for the mid-range. So MR is equals to the lowest value plus highest value all over 2. Okay, so for example, we have the water line breaks. So in the last 2 winter season, the city of Brownsville, Minnesota reported this number of water line break per month. Find the mid-range. So we have 2, 3, 6, 8, 4, and 1. Okay, so for the solution, okay, so let's get the lowest and highest. Ang lowest value is 1. Ang highest value is 8. So we have 8 plus 1 over 2, and that is equals to 9 over 2, and equal to 4.5. Okay, so ito yung mean range niya. Okay, so weighted mean. Okay, so weighted mean is the type of mean that consider an additional factors, and that is called the weighted mean. Okay, it is used when the values are not all equal represented. Okay, so paano yun? So find the weighted mean of the variable x by multiplying each value for each corresponding weight. Divide the sum by the product of the sum of the product by the sum of the weight. So we have x bar is equals to w sub 1 x sub 1 plus w sub 2 x sub 2 plus okay up to w sub n all over x sub n multiplied by x sub n all over w sub 1 plus w sub 2 plus w sub m. It is equal to summation of w times x all over summation of w. Okay guys, take note of this one. You don't need to cancel summation of w over summation of w. So eto, hindi ganun yon. So ibig sabihin nito, sa summation of kinukuha natin yung summation ng x and then w. Okay, where x sub 1, w sub 1, w sub 2, up to w sub n are the weights, and then x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 3, n are the values. Okay, so for example, breakpoint average, a student received an A in English composition, so that is 3 credits. Okay. C in Introduction to Psychology, so that is 3 credits. A B in Biology, that is 4 credits, and D for Physical Education is 2 credits. So assuming that A is equal to 4 grade points, B is equals to 3 grade points, C is equal to 2 grade points, D is equals to 1 grade points, and F is equals to 0 grade points. So find the student grade point average. Okay, so let's see for the solution. So ito yung course natin. So the English Composition 1, Introduction to Psychology, Biology 1, and then the Physical Education. So yung credits, ito yung weights, which are 3, 3, 4, and 2 respectively. And then for the grade, which is the X, we have A 4 points, C 2 points, B 3 points, and then D 1 points. 1 point. Okay, so get this the mean. We have the summation of xw or over summation of w. So that is 3 multiplied by 4, ito yun, plus 3 multiplied by 2, okay, 4 multiplied by 3, and then 2 multiplied by 1. Okay, so all over 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 2. Ito na yung summation ng W. Summation ng W. So, we have here 32 over 12, and that is equal to 2.7. So, yung 2.7, ito yung average grade point ng estudyante, or the grade point average of the student is 2.7. Okay, so distribution of shapes. So type of distribution, paano ba naka-apekto ang mean, median, mode, at ano yung itsura ng mean, median, mode sa normal distribution. Okay, or sa distribution of shape. So first is what we call the positively skewed or right skewed. So in positively skewed or right skewed distribution, the majority of the values falls to the left, okay, of the mean, and cluster at the lower end of the distribution, where the tail is to be the right side. Also, the mean is to the right of the median, and the mode and is to the left of the median. So, papansinin natin, right skewed siya kapag ang mean ay nasa kanan ni median at ang median ay nasa kanan ng mode. Yun yun. Kung papansinin natin, mode has the highest frequency, and then yung tail niya ay nandirito sa right side. Okay, next is dun symmetric. Okay, sa symmetric, okay, so sa symmetric distribution, the data values are very evenly distributed in both sides of the mean. In addition, when the distribution is unimodal, the mean, the median, and the mode are the same and are at the center of the distribution. Okay, so as we can see on this figure, the mean, median, mode is at the center of the distribution. So dito na siya nagpo-form ng bell shape. Okay, so next is the last one. We have the negatively skewed. Okay, negatively skewed. Okay, so when the majority of the data falls to the right of the mean. Okay, and cluster at the upper end of the distribution with tail to the left, the distribution is said to be negatively skewed or left skewed. Also, the mean is to the left, the median, okay, and the mode is to the right of the median. Okay, so as we can see, yung tail niya ay nasa left side. Okay. So, and then dito sa part na to, okay, si mode, okay, ang sa pinakamataas, okay pa rin. So, si main ay nasa left side ni median, at si median ay nasa right side naman ni mode. Ay nasa left side. Si mode ay nasa right side ni median. Okay, so far, that is all for today. Thank you for listening and God bless you.